Good. Well, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room, live every day. Copy. Okay, let's get here. Copy. Well, good morning, everybody. By the way, by the way, by the way, chocolate raspberry. Okay. Again, I'm Jared Malott. This is Justice's Waiting Room. Coming to you live every day during the week, 8:30 about 10 a.m. Okay. 1:30 about 3. I don't know if you can hear the crunch on these Bop Tarts. Well, um, before you flood my comments about me getting banned from TikTok, one thing I've learned in my life, don't give a hater oxygen. Okay? So y'all do whatever you want to do, right? I'm hearing people saying there's retribution available. We can just go tag her shit. Hey, a lot of us got told when we were little kids that we'd never be anything. One of my mentors from back in the day, his name is Jason King. He's the general manager at the Vogue, which is like It's a historical site and a music venue. And I mean, we I worked security for him for a year. Um, Met some of the most famous people in the world. Name them. They played at the Vogue. And there were some people that you would meet that are the most accomplished musicians and respected musicians in the world, and you pay them no fucking mind. You pay them the money that you owe them, you be nice to them, you let them have their time on your stage, and then you close up shop and you go home. And you ain't a goddamn bit interested in what that artist has for you outside of their talent. So, how I feel about the people that are slandering me and defaming me, pay them no mind. Don't give them oxygen. Don't say their name. Don't share their work. Don't like their work. Don't even be in their comments giving them engagement. That's my advice. Don't even give them oxygen. I will never consume their content. I will never look to them to partner with. They can say whatever they want right now because I'm under appeal from the ban that they brigade downvoted and reported my content. And understand, by the way, I'm a data analyst. I'm in my last year studying data analytics at Purdue. And when I look at the content that resulted in my ban, we wouldn't make it out of discovery if I sued you for retaliation, which is what happened because the two videos that they mass reported were the ones with the timestamps on them. So you were trying to destroy evidence that you stole from me when you ordered your little cronies to mass report the only two pieces I created with timestamps in the memo, which my lawyer already told me like, oh, we ain't even make it out of discovery. The two videos that they mass reported that got your account banned were the ones with timestamps in them, meaning that they were stealing from me. I didn't have timestamps in my work. And ultimately, when I started timestamping my work and they realized, like, we can't work with this person because we stole from them. We have to now, it has to be all drama, defamation. We have to, now it's pitchforks. They can never admit they're wrong, that they stole, but a judge will. And for the record, yep, I ain't saying no names. I'm not giving them oxygen. I ain't saying no names. I'm just letting you know. My lawyer said this don't even make it out of discovery. So that's defamation, retaliation. We can just keep going. They could keep saying my fucking name. Because I already know in both city and states in which both creators live, and I know their real names. That took 5 minutes. So now, the ball's in your court. You keep saying my fucking name in a room I ain't in. Okay? That's how I feel about it. So the first piece of news that I would, less than a week. I ain't worried about it. I'm really not worried about it. I'm not sweating TikTok as much as I would be sweating like a YouTube ban. Okay? Uh, TikTok is in a lot of hot water. And it satiates a lot of the like serotonin needs. It gives you that quick fix. And YouTube, you're just gonna have to look a little harder. I'm gonna have to work a little harder. I gotta, get a master's in fucking brevity, right, to be able to master YouTube Shorts, right? Um, same skill set applies. You still gotta be able to take in news, spit out news stories. The first thing that I would say, like, hey, what the fuck's going on in the world? Okay. Uh, I made a couple pieces there late on YouTube talking about fucking aliens. This is like one of my least favorite subjects to talk about. Um, and they were talking about like aliens coming out of the ocean, right? That was like a storyline. and the feds couldn't tell you why, and they're acting, oh my God, we don't know. Well, I think we do. Okay. So there's this organization called DARPA. Okay. Okay. DARPA is the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. Okay. And they have what's called NOMARS, No Manning Required Ship Program. So, and hopefully that got the wheels turning, just describing DARPA, describing the NOMARS, and understand that those are unmanned aerial vehicles capable of refueling at sea. So for my money, aliens coming out of the ocean, question fucking answered. Good to go? I have no further questions. DARPA, NOMARS. If you say anything else other than the orbs are part of an entertainment company, the drones are clearly marked, licensed, FAA compliant, talking with an air traffic controller, and if they're not, they're going to get a shot out of the sky. I don't want to hear anything else about fucking aliens. There's zero goddamn evidence. Zero. I don't do full-blown conspiracy theories now. Okay? There are manned and unmanned drones. Okay? The DARPA NOMARS program is unmanned. So that's why there's no pilot. Okay? That for the record, answered. Question fucking answered. Okay? We've now gone at length at drones, orbs, and aliens. All of that is explained. I went to school for flight. We're not going to keep doing that. Okay? It's unnecessarily scaring people, because the thing about it is, it doesn't matter what I say. There's people that flat out believe aliens fucking exist, right? I think the second story of the day, as we eat our breakfast. Second story of the day is sort of a two-parter in terms of what you actually need to see. Okay? There's a publication called The Hill. Okay? Put out an article yesterday talking about Congress can act and prevent Trump from taking office. Okay? I'm going to post the link to the Hill article if I can fucking find it. Yeah, I can't believe he said that, told the people that got their sentences commuted and were no longer going to receive the death penalty to go to hell. But here's an article. I don't know about how credible the Daily Boulder is, nor am I suggesting that an ex-Supreme Court clerk is a good source of information. So I want to make sure this is a reason that I was like, I have multiple sources here. Okay, the reason I'm posting the Daily Boulder link first is because if you kind of look at it, hey, this is about as close as it gets to like the fucking truth here. Okay. The headline is Freak Out. MAGA world erupts after ex-Supreme Court clerks urge Congress to disqualify Trump under insurrection clause. Okay. That's the 14th Amendment, Article 3. So again, what we're talking about is our conversations that we've been having since the election, or really I've been having since January 6, 2021. right? Where I was like, he's held public office. He clearly participated and supported in an insurrection. There's no rules that says you can't fucking run. President-elect is not a title, but he can't be president because he is disqualified. And I posted earlier today, I posted a YouTube short as an explainer because, there's people that are like, I don't really understand politics. And I think if I have a skill set that is like relevant to right now, is for example, I'm learning to uh, use more brevity. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to share this with you. Okay, and that's my YouTube short earlier today, kind of explaining how the 14th Amendment Article 3 applies in layman's terms, right? Like, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express. I'm a homeowner. I have no fucking need to do that. And the English language is fucking boring and it's very rigid. You know how I talk about the Constitution being fucking rigid? Part of the rigidity of the Constitution is how goddamn boring English is. Okay? It's not fucking fun. Okay? So, as a result of that, when I read the 14th Amendment, the way I read disqualification is that Donald Trump is always wearing disqualification, like a scarlet letter. So he is just like disqualified from the job. You could apply, you could run, you could even win the fucking seat. And I also want to make sure I say this. When you vote for POTUS, your vote's tied to the fucking VP. So if Donald Trump's not eligible, I don't want to talk about JD Vance. They changed that law. Okay? The law used to be when you run for president, the guy that gets first is the president, and the guy that gets second is the vice president. And they fucking changed that shit, because what if the fucking VP is the opponent, right? Like, what if they're, like, not friends? That's not gonna fucking work, right? So they changed the fucking rules. The president and vice president are on a ticket. They're challenging vice president and president on a ticket, right? If the president's deemed ineligible, his fucking running mate's ineligible. And also, we're talking about supporting an insurrection. I would just point to finance and say money. If anyone has any questions about JD Vance's support of the insurrection, consider that. And again, this isn't pejorative. I went and looked it up myself. Peter Thiel financed JD Vance's involvement with Project 2025, which was like 2 years before January 6, 2021. So JD Vance literally helped fucking finance all of that shit leading up to January 6, 2021. And to tell me, you can't tell me a tech bro tied to fucking Elon Musk who fucking flipped the script after he was sucking off Ron DeSantis. And then all of a sudden he's now hardcore MAGA. Okay? Sucking the fucking teat. So yeah, I think I'm going to look up that Hill article. In the meantime, got posted several times on, there it is. Found it. This was written yesterday at 8 a.m. It came out yesterday at 8 a.m. I think time frames are irrelevant here, right? So if you look at this article from the Hill, okay, and see the Daily Boulder article is just a little more like flashy in your face about it. And their source is a little lower quality. A Supreme Court clerk, right? This is as opposed to, for example, Jessica Denson having constitutional lawyers on her podcast and constitutional experts on her podcast. Yeah. So Evan Davis and David Schulte, which are opinion contributors for The Hill, they wrote an article about the 14th Amendment, Article 3. Okay, so keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. I see this as the pattern of events, and I'm not saying I fit in them. So I don't want anybody being like, yeah, they were listening to you. No. I watched Brian Tyler Cohen on Midas Touch interview, and again, I'm not talking shit to anybody. I'm just fucking making very valid points here. Michael Popak, who when I researched who Michael Popak is, from my understanding, that is a personal injury lawyer out of like Boca Raton. Okay, and again, all the respect in the world due to another human. So this isn't like I dislike that person. But if I'm gonna listen to an interpretation of the Constitution, I want to hear it from someone whose fucking lifeblood is the Constitution. They got to be like a constitutional lawyer, constitutional expert, some guy that helps you sue when somebody's auto insurance fails to pay your medical bills or some shit. Is not the person I want giving me constitutional advice. And here's how I know I'm right. Right? 24 and 48 hours after that, after Michael Popak got on Midas Touch and said something to the effect of Congress has to apply disqualification to Donald Trump. And for the record, Brian Tyler Cohen, up to that point, in that moment, in that show, they were on the same page, for the record. They agreed. And 24 and 48 hours after that, Jessica Denson, and who I want to keep pointing this out, Jessica Denson left Midas Touch because Midas Touch did not want to put her content out. And she has been on our side this whole time. She's talked about Jackie Singh, Stephen Spoonemore. She's talked about this shit going on with the 14th Amendment. And 24 and 48 hours after Michael Popak said that dumb shit, that I literally was like, I'm not a lawyer. I could win that argument. That's not how that's not what that says. My understanding of the English language is greater than thou, right? So when constitutional lawyers get on there, and for the record, it was like music to my ears. It was like I felt like I was at a revival, right? Like they were speaking my language. They were literally saying what I'm saying, and they've made a bazillion dollars fucking teaching and like speaking and talking about the fucking Constitution and shit. And for them to like, and there's no way that like Kamala Harris or like people working with Kamala Harris like don't know that. So I know everybody's kind of wondering, right? Like, does anybody else feel how we feel? Yeah. And increasingly so. And that should be a good feeling, right? Because a lot of times, especially, goddamn, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've just been gaslit the fuck out of. You know, they screamed election interference and election fraud. They got all their recounts. It didn't overturn the election. Those still people JD Vance himself was asked about the results of the 2020 election. And if I remember correctly, before the election, he said something to the effect of "bless your heart." And y'all have no idea what's about to happen. And he's been awful quiet since the election, and I think those two comments kind of run together. In case anybody wondered what happens when you get cornered in a hallway, in the underneath, get cornered by like an FBI agent, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, sir?" No, you don't think that happens? You don't think like a Fed would stop an elected official and be like, "What's going to happen after the election?" and people wonder, how does that apply, right? How do you apply the 14th Amendment, Article 3? So there's a sequence of events that's probably going to happen that, again, we're in completely uncharted territory. I don't think we've ever been here before, but here's the major problem. The House has to elect a new Speaker of the House on January 3rd. The Republicans, because of Donald Trump's appointments of multiple people that would have contributed to him being able to appoint a speaker, he's appointed to his cabinet, and you can't do both jobs. So what I'm understanding is that on January 3rd, it's only 217 to 215. The Republicans are in fucking disarray. So understand that in answering the question, how do we actually apply the 14th Amendment, Article 3? Whenever you get around to it. Because you ain't seating a new Congress. You ain't electing a speaker. You're not certifying the election on the 6th. You're not inaugurating them on the 20th. So that's suspending the administration. Remember, they've got that 45, 45, 30 as days in length, which is that's 120 days, y'all. 4 months. 4 months after the election, right? 45, 45, and 30. Yeah, that's 90 and 30 is 120. 120 days, 4 months after the election. In March, I'm guessing, right? December, January, February, March. Yeah, sometime in March. Uh, Somebody's gonna get up there and say like, okay, we've done all this investigation on this election, and there are multiple paths. So I keep bringing up the prosecuting election crimes document, urging people to read that too. Read that too. If you're gonna read the executive order 13848, if you're gonna bother to read the fucking Constitution and look at the 14th Amendment shit up and verify that information for yourself and see what it says for yourself, well, hell, you might as well read Executive Order 13848. You might get real comfortable with prosecuting election crimes because there's a lot of them. Okay. Um, and they're all gonna get charged. There's no fucking way they don't. There are too many safeguards for democracy in place to not use them. You think we'll know if the ball is rolling by next Friday? So, good question. Let's see what next Friday is. Okay. Next Friday is the 3rd. Am I right? Yeah. So, one of the things that hasn't come out, yawn. One of the things that hasn't come out yet is what was I gonna say? It hasn't come out yet. Yeah, I know. Hasn't come out yet. The report, the ODNI, that hasn't hit, and I don't even care if it's some of it's redacted. It's not supposed to be. There's there's supposed to be something from the ODNI. I haven't checked that in a minute, so we should probably check that. No, hasn't been a post since December 5th. So I think that, in my eyes, that's the first indicator, right? Because in past elections, you've seen the ODNI report, right? I think the report not coming out right away is telling you stories. Um, I think you'll know then that something's going on. Because again, and I'm just repeating myself, but I'm just reiterating this. If there was nothing and we were fucking crazy, you'd have done seen the ODNI report. It would have come out and gave an all clear, right? Am I wrong? Like, look at the past. Look at the past, how they've operated when they didn't find anything. The report came out like, hey, we didn't find anything. So I think that report not coming out is a big tell. I think the thing from archives.gov, I sat on that for 2 fucking days, right? And now, for the record, archives.gov, the thing that's kind of funny is when you look at this, right? So yeah, I think one of the things that here's one of the things that I've heard or read. I read this. All of the big things have happened on a Monday. I think like every Monday since the election has been like a bombshell. Like Joe Biden pardoning his son, I think there were other shits along the way. So I think the shit's got to hit the fan eventually. You know what I mean? Like we're in the second of 45 days of the investigation and as a result of Executive Order 13848. So like the initial investigation reports were turned in. They're in the second 45 days where I'm assuming it's figure out what are the charges. Burp. And then again, like I said, we're just in a complete and again, this was Russia's whole thing. This is what they want. Okay? They're getting exactly what they want. They want people to be exhausted with media coverage of the election. They want people confused as to what's right and what's wrong, what's true, what's not true, right? I mean, think about this. I try to carefully curate my audience, right? Where I like try to tell people like, you can't bullshit me. House be voting on Mike Johnson January 3rd. Somebody's having Byron on the 6th. Yeah. There's no fucking way you certify this election and give it to Donald Trump. I can tell you that. There's no fucking way. There's too many red flags, bells and whistles. You know. So it's a slow bleed. You know. Again, all the signs are pointing to the. I hate to say it like that. I mean, I don't. I like being correct, but I'm right. Donald Trump is running out of money. And when companies are giving you $1 million, you're spending that shit. That's not saving your life when you're that rich. A million's nothing. So he doesn't even have 100 million. That makes sense. V. One of the people in my comments said, Valerie Fonte said, I read the Panama Canal thing is because Putin wants access. Well, the Panama thing, from what I understand, is because Donald Trump hasn't paid his fucking taxes in Panama. And him and his family own land on both sides of the Panama Canal. So sure, Putin wants fucking access. But again, from what I understand, like Trump owes fucking taxes because he owns property there. He's just like a massive piece of shit. Like, there's so many countries he can't even fucking go to anymore. Like, I have a feeling that it's on its last legs. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw Laura Loomer going the fuck to town on Elon Musk last night. I wasn't even really trying to look at social media and saw Laura Loomer just diving down Elon Musk, and it's like, hey, that's what you gotta have. Is you gotta have that shit. That shit start imploding, right? Yeah, restrictions on Putin using it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally makes sense. Yeah, I was like, this is good shit. That's the best thing Laura Loomer's fucking done. The highlight of her fucking career is shitting on Elon Musk. Let's be real. Hey, I feel like I got talked about this on my podcast in case one of you stumbles into an executive office one day and tries to implement some shit. Uh, AI is not real. Artificial intelligence is not real. Okay? The thing about artificial intelligence that you have to understand, okay? And this is even look up artificial intelligence, okay? Always an underlying reason why Trump says shit. Yep. So the problem with artificial intelligence is that even the way the fucking government describes it. This is from the State Department. The term artificial intelligence means a machine-based system that can, for a given set of human-defined objectives, make predictions, recommendations, or decisions influencing real or virtual environments. That sounds an awful lot like a fucking computer. And as someone who's literally in school and I have to study this shit, okay? Artificial intelligence, the implication is that it's like self-motivated. That it does it on its own without the need of a human to drive it, right? Like you could just run a program, but then it would just be a program, right? So what artificial intelligence, how it differs from a computer, is that it is attempting to become sentient. It's trying to get smart. It's trying to become more human. And ultimately, the prevailing theory. So I just want to make sure that like I spit this out and that other people hear it before I get more invested in fucking AI. I fucking hate the shit because I used it in a class, a math class, a high level math class, and I had to teach the AI the math that I was trying to get it to help me do. You understand? It only knows what you teach it. It only when you get the answer right and it's like, was this helpful? And you click, yeah, fuck yeah, you got the right answer. You're helping it learn. That's it. So artificial intelligence is not what you want to like build your whole fucking company around. And you know how I fucking know that? Because Elon Musk is fucking a huge fan of AI and crypto, right? We don't touch that shit. It's a trap. Okay? But the idea, the prevailing theory behind artificial intelligence, I think they all know they're done. How could they not? How could they not? I mean, but yeah, I mean, you've got to figure they know. Donald Trump fucking said election twice in a 2-page rant on social media on fucking Christmas, right? And then the Republican Party is fucking cratering. They're starting to attack each other. These are all the signs that like they know. And the thing about it is here's the great part about me being confident like I want to start the American Socialist Party. I'm so confident that I'm right. Like the Democrats come out of this looking like fucking heroes because all they got to do is hold people accountable and like apply the law. And what have they done for the last like 4 years that gave you any indication that they were just going to cave at this point? What would be the point of putting all those people in jail from the insurrection on January 6th to let the fucking ringleader go? Yep. Cuz he's also disqualified. And it was a massive waste of time. And he also is surrounded by maroons, to quote Space Jam, right? Like he has a bunch of people that can't keep secrets, and he knows loose lips sink ships. I was in the Marine Corps too. He was just a fucking pogue. He just worked in an office, right? So he knows loose lips sink ships. He was around a bunch of fucking staff and COs and high up uh, officers where they they're kind of secretive about shit, and you're not necessarily telling guys stuff. Nah, mm-mm. Nah, he participated in an insurrection. He's not eligible for office. That's the problem with the Republican Party is like they've got like a handful of people in that party. They're not full up. So that's why I'm like, we got to start the American Socialist Party. We got to get away from foreign money. We got to get away from big corporations, right? We got to kind of start fresh, right? With a very basic platform of trying to deliver. Uh, he has the most lose. Yeah, he's got the most money. I don't know what's that shit. Oh, it's now the top post. He participated. Oh, so um, I'd said this a little earlier, inspired. Um, I did research on JD Vance, and I mean, you don't have to like it, right? You don't have to like it. By the way, really, it don't have to be fun to hear. JD Vance was financed by Peter Thiel after he wrote Hillbilly Elegy. If you just like look it up, it's like a timeline of events. He writes Hillbilly Elegy, this shit comes out, Peter Thiel gets involved. He gets involved with Project 2025, and this is in 2019. This is 2 years before the fucking insurrection. So when we are like, did he participate in it? Oh, he was the money. He was the money. He was part of he was part of he was a part architect of Project 2025, which is the whole plan to shut down the government and install and like all the things that they've been doing. They telegraphed the fuck out of this, right? So the agencies were ready. That in my eyes, you don't. If I'm Joe Biden and I'm the feds and I put out a notification a month out of the election, what was it, like a month out of the election, the day before the election, the day of the election? Hey, we're expecting like Russian interference in our election. Like we're expecting this shit, right? And then like I said, every single day since the election, I'm I feel even better about it. The silence from both sides is what is giving me life. Because if there was nothing going on and it was just business as fucking usual, the right would be fucking celebrating. They would not be going at each other. And the fucking left would be picking up the fucking pieces and being like, okay, we fucking lost. Let's go to 26. Let's go to 28 and try to fucking get this country back on track because you know this is going to be a fucking rough ride. Right? But they're not doing that, dude. They are usually out there campaigning, constantly communicating, and trying to build a base and shit, right? They ain't doing that shit. Where the fuck is everybody? Oh, it's the holidays, Jared. Nah, fam. Kamala Harris was at the White House, came back from a vacation, and was there from the 20th to 26th when Joe Biden left to go to St. Croix, and she flew home to LA until the 2nd. Silence is deafening. For sure. My parents never talked. I know shit's going on behind the scenes. The fuck are we talking about? Depends on who's quiet. I can tell you who fucked up too. But yeah, just so you've got a link to the Fallout. Okay. Okay. Oh. So I saw this, and because I was in the military, here's why I know. I saw a post where it says like Elon Musk is on Screwicide Watch, right? On Suicide Watch. I can actually say it. It's fucking YouTube. Elon Musk's on Suicide Watch, and I like read the post, and it's a picture of a fighter jet, the F-35, and then the next slide is like a Twitter post where he's like, manned fighter jets are a waste of fucking resources. Like we got to discontinue the F-35 or whatever. And I think the reason is that he doesn't have the capability of having like a drone army or whatever, and it be able to fight against stealth fighters. So that's why he's like shitting on them and saying we got to defund them, is because what he thinks, like, I think we talked about it. Why would they make it public that President Biden went to St. Croix? I think he vacations there every year, and that they do that every year. And his schedule's public. Like if you go look up President Biden's schedule, the website's called Roll Call. Here, look. So if I go look up just like Roll Call, and for the record, Obama had it before Trump. And I could show the links for that too. But yeah, here's Joe Biden's public calendar. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, why not? What's the reason that the Virgin Islands is great is because the same reason going to Hawaii is great. Lack of infrastructure. There's not a big bunch of skyscrapers, and you're gonna tear up a lot of expensive buildings and like roads and shit. And it's like a dot of islands out in the middle of the ocean. Um, Same thing with the USVI. It's a U.S. territory. It's out at sea. It's not a mainland spot. It's probably not a lot of people this time of year. It's 80 degrees. It's a little windy, I think. 15-mile-an-hour wind about at 78 degrees ish. Might be a little cool for me, but you know, I try to be about as comfortable as I can. So yeah, um, you 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 make their schedules public, and then in my eyes, you just try to not be exact with your time frames, right? For example, I hate to be that way, but let's say I'm due to speak at like 8 a.m. Probably showing up like 7:30. I don't want anybody expecting me walking in the door at 8 o'clock with a Glock, right? Like I want to be there before the action gets there. You know what I mean? I want to be in the door, sitting down, ready to go before. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at like doing media as a football coach. Like if I was to be an NFL head coach, I would go in, talk to my team first, and then immediately just go straight in and do my interviews. Like, what's up, everybody? Yeah, we just came for a team meeting. Yeah, we won. Yeah, we beat that ass. Yeah, we know we're ready for next week. Yeah, nobody's injured, not that I know of. All right, like have a good night. You know what I mean? I can't wait. Um, but yeah, so you got the ODNI to look at. We explained aliens coming out of the fucking ocean. DARPA, no Mars. That shit's over. Okay. Um, and again, the hilarious part about the content that I put out, the community that I've created, is that we've known about the 14th Amendment, Article 3 for a long fucking time. So the fact that that's just now hitting mainstream media, it's telling that this was coordinated. I don't know if how many have heard me talk about this yet, where it's like, and there's 18 fucking people in here. Hey, make sure you get 8 hours of sleep, that you drink water, that you eat right, and that you exercise and you take care of yourself, and that you stay ready as opposed to just having to get ready. Okay, but yeah, I think when you look around, I think the news is now slow. And that's because the fucking president who just signed 50 bills the day before Christmas is now in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Kamala Harris arrived back home, and apparently she'll be out of town till the second. Now, people are gonna say like, is nothing gonna happen? I don't think that. I don't think that. I I think not being in Washington D.C. and announcing anything is a great strategic move if you're expecting backlash. So I actually think, on the contrary, there's people that are like, it's over. They went home. Joe went to where he regularly vacations. Kamala Harris is going home to LA. It's over. There's nothing they could do. Whatever. If I was gonna announce something that I expected a half of the country, which is fucking hilarious, because it's more like less than one out of every five, more like one out of every six people. Dead ass. I know there's a lot of people out there that are scared, and the world looks a lot darker and all that shit. The hard reality is it's really more like 16%, 15%. Okay. I know. You're like, Jared, you said, if you just look at the election results, only really a quarter of the population voted for him. And it's like, right. And then you fucking cheated, right? And you got to factor that into your confidence level. And how many, what are the odds of somebody being a Trumper? It's not one and two. Okay. It's not 1 in 3. It's not 1 in 4 people. Okay. It's like 1 or 5 or 1 in 6 people all told. Okay. and everybody is starting to feel the sort of the clamps, right? And they enjoying this, and he's not even in office. So one of the things people have asked about is like getting Republicans to vote with Democrats. I don't think they're gonna have any fucking problem with that. They've already shown when they were doing the shutdown vote. If you look at the vote tallies from every round, in my opinion, this is my opinion based on the math, more Republicans went away from the other, like, it went like 32, 33, 34, 36, 38. Like every round of voting they did, more Republicans went away from the Republican norm. And that was in like the first fucking election. And then they got to elect a speaker on January 3rd. That's going to be a fucking shit show because they don't have they don't have that much of a majority, so they can't afford dissent. And it's like, if you're the Republicans and you think you're going to avoid dissent electing a speaker of the House when there's like factions within the Republican Party, tell me when I'm wrong. Say that's not right. Yeah. There's the MAGA people, there's anti-MAGA people, right? We know if they've increased security in DC. Okay. So here's what I looked up. There's permitting for increased fencing around the White House. That's up. There's been nothing in terms of the inauguration. Ain't no fencing. Because there's no permitting for fencing at the White House. Or at the US Capitol, sorry, I misspoke. So if you go look, you're gonna see the same thing. You're gonna see that from now, like through inauguration, whatever. Tech Bro Mega. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, we got 19 people in here. Glad to see everybody. Oh, by the way, so the reason I share the article from the Hill and I say like, "Hey, this is a big deal. This is breaking into mainstream media, the thought that Donald Trump's ineligible for office." And the reason that it's important is cuz that article now is probably got like 10 million views in less than 48 hours. And when you think about how information works, 8 million is a lot. That's a 8 million was yesterday. It's like in the double digit millions now in terms of people that have seen the article from the Hill talking about. And so that word's spreading like wildfire. That's one of the main reasons when I woke up this morning and realized that post from the Hill is going mega viral. Hey, I should make a YouTube short quickly explaining how the 14th Amendment Article 3 applies. And I'm not reciting anything, but I'm going to make sure I say it on my podcast too, okay? So a lot of people have come to me and asked, how do I explain to someone else that Donald Trump is disqualified from being president? I can help here, okay? And it doesn't have to be like a lengthy explanation either. The things that to keep in mind about the 14th Amendment Article 3 is that it doesn't apply to JD Vance. No, it does apply to JD Vance. He's already held public office. So the requirement in the 14th Amendment is that you must have already served in public office. So if you've served in public office and you participated in an insurrection, or I believe supported is appropriate as well. Like there's different. So supported an insurrection. Then you are ineligible for office. And you wear that ineligibility like a scarlet letter permanently. You are always wearing ineligibility, disqualification. And the only way to remove the scarlet letter, disqualification, ineligibility, is for 2/3 of both the House and Senate. The House and Senate, 2/3 majority have to vote to remove the scarlet letter, to remove the eligibility clause. ineligibility clause, the disqualifying clause, okay, from Donald Trump. So we've talked about it at length, and I want to make sure we keep reiterating this. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. I didn't even stay in the Holiday Inn Express last night, but I have like a basic understanding of English, and I think this shit is very cut and dry. People have also asked like about the 14th Amendment, Article 3, how come Donald Trump could run? Right? How could a criminal run? Right? So one of the things that we learned, and the answer is Hunter Biden. For the record, why was Donald Trump allowed to run for office? Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden was unfairly prosecuted by a political opponent of Joe Biden. So that was a political hit job on Joe Biden's son. Okay? You don't have to agree. I didn't ask you to. Okay? But when you read the charges and you read the outcome, they don't it doesn't look like good that doesn't look like good application of law and order. It looks like they rammed through a conviction and made it like a federal crime and shit, and like as a hit job. So obviously Joe Biden pardoning his son, it kind of makes that shit not matter. But the reason that Donald Trump was allowed to run for office is because of the situation that Hunter Biden was put in, where he very well could have run for public office one day. Fuck, who knows? And the Republicans put out a hit on him and put charges on him. And the only way to get him to go away and clean his name up is for his dad to pardon him, which he said he would never do. And I want to keep putting a pin in the times that Joe Biden's reversed his position on some shit, because a lot of people, they use what you say against you, and I don't feel like people backtrack and change their position on things and say like, I've read some things, I've come to understand some things, I was wrong before, things like you hear me say every now and then, trying to play all humble and shit. Like somebody said, yeah, we already answered that. So we know that they're just increasing security in DC. I saw permits for fencing around the White House, not around the U.S. Capitol. If there was fencing increase asked for around the U.S. Capitol, that would lead me to believe that Donald Trump was being inaugurated. Does that travel? Okay. So obviously we've been going for about an hour. Okay. For the record, not missing TikTok at all. I don't miss having to look over in a way, to talk to another group of people. The chat was uncontrollable. So let's see what's going on in the world. Holy shit. I just. Oh, I'm sharing this. This is from October 30th, 2016. Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, a Democrat from Nevada, addressed the former FBI Director James Comey. You possess explosive information about the close ties between Donald Trump and the Russian government. We've decided the use of the TikTok app is going to be blocked for about the next week, probably. Uh-oh. Okay, this is important. This is from Anonymous. This is 18 hours ago. If you don't know who Anonymous is, okay. It says NATO sources say Russia is preparing to attack Finland and other Baltic countries across the eastern flank. Russia plans to invade Europe from the Arctic region through the Baltic and Black Seas to the Mediterranean. Next few days. Special counsel Jack Smith is expected to release his final report as an investigation into Donald Trump in the next few days. So, yeah. That sounds like Monday. Hey, hey. I need somebody to acknowledge me in the chat. Say, I heard what you just said. I'm pretty sure the Monday surprise is the Jack Smith shit. Yep, yep. I'm doing my little, I'm looking at my little birdies. Hey, and I think we got to start talking about the bird flu. I would encourage you to mask up, be careful. Okay. What were we talking about that you want me to repeat, dear? I just said two things. Uh, I'm hearing sources saying Jack Smith's going to release his final report in a few days, and that tracks. The reason it tracks is because Mondays have been explosive for like the last 4 or 5 weeks, and so it kind of makes sense to say like, okay, well that makes sense a few days, and that comes out on a Friday, and it's like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's a few days. So, and then we should probably talk about. Yeah, they know what's coming. Tim Pool posted, we're going to have a huge announcement on January 1st. So I can promise you, I know shit's about to pop off. I know shit's about to pop off. Hey, and I want to make sure I say this to my audience. Like, before we grow and get bigger, before anything good happens, I just appreciate y'all being here and listen to me. I know things have been volatile, and that, I had somebody say something in a comment that they don't know me, so it wasn't one of y'all, and it's not gonna change my behavior. Um, but what they did in a few sentences is they told me that they have no concept of accountability, and their only advice was that I'm too angry. Okay? Yes. Kamala Harris went to LA. She landed at 12:45 yesterday. Okay? So, I want to make sure that I impart on my audience, don't get into fucking crypto. Okay? Um it's it's not the stock market, and again, I'm not necessarily a fan of investing in stock market either. I my best one of my best friends anyway, the one that's a lawyer by training and not by, she's not back. She won't be back till the second. Oh, you know what I saw? 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 Thanks V for making me talk about it. But anyway, I was just gonna say don't get into crypto. Okay, it's a fucking scam. It's even more volatile than the stock market, and I think that you need a professional to help you invest. And my best friend is a lawyer by training who got into finance because we really need like good people that can help you learn how to like save and prepare for retirement and shit. And I'm just gonna keep saying shit like this. Fuck crypto. Like, y'all think it's like some anti Elon Musk. I'm not anti Elon Musk. Okay. What ended up happening was Elon Musk has adopted positions that fly in the face of all the education that I have about artificial intelligence, about crypto. And I get it. You're sitting here, you're like, you have an education in that? I'm in school for data analytics at Purdue. And I'm one of those people that I try to be humble. And I know that sounds fucking crazy, but like when I was going through VRNE with the VA, I told the counselor, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to like Purdue Global online." And she was like, "What is that?" And she was like, the people that teach that teach at Purdue. The coursework, same as a Purdue student. It just costs less. And you get to work from home. Like, don't don't think like what you're doing isn't like the hardest fucking degree there is. Now there's like advanced degrees, like masters and PhDs and shit. But as far as a 4-year bachelor's degree, data analytics, because it's math and it's also like there's a little sociology in this. There's a little ethics. And for the record, right now, I'm taking an ethics and data governance course. So this is literally what we're talking about right now is about how like you should be able to look at a data set and say, can I see other examples of the same data sets from prior years? And if the data sets look incredibly fucking different, we have a problem. We have a problem. Right? And one of the things we talked about was like the uniformity of data and how it's not supposed to be that way. Data is supposed to be messy. When you look at a chart, it's supposed to do this. And it's supposed to be unpredictable as fuck. And like, it's supposed to do that. That's what data does over time. But when you hyper normalize data and now it's two parallel straight lines, something's wrong here. Arizona, Maricopa County specifically. Okay? And what you're looking at when you're looking at the two red lines and you're like, Jared, why are those like parallel? Why don't they interact? Why isn't one of them straight and the other one's going like this? And it's because they hacked into the voting software and changed shit to guarantee that he won, from what I understand from computer programmers. Hear this shit, 50.5. That was their target. Is they cheated in this election trying to bottle 50.5% of the electorate to guarantee a Trump victory, using computers to make it, force it to happen. I hope that makes sense. So when I talk about like AI, it's because I'm taking classes in AI. When I talk about cryptocurrency and how, like, for example, Elon Musk is trying to con the US government into trading a million Bitcoin for the gold equivalent, right? And saying that it would substantiate Bitcoin. And I get it that like it sucks living paycheck to paycheck and barely having enough to pay your bills and shit. I get that that sucks. But crypto's not the way to financial freedom for you. It's the way to financial freedom from someone that already has a fuckload of money and can hop on, invest a bunch, make a bunch in a short term, fucking get out, and it doesn't have any impact. But like you and I can't fucking do that ever. And so it's not a get rich quick scheme. I will never do that to you. I would never try to MLM you. Yeah. But yeah, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are right now supporting cryptocurrency, and I again, I, I I am anti Donald Trump. I am anti Elon Musk. But like if those people didn't exist, I would still be like warning you that like just like artificial intelligence, how I've told you, it lacks the essence. That's what I think the point I want to get across about AI is it's never going to be sentient. And so it's not AI. It's it's machine learning, which is like a parallel, but it's like a more realistic understanding of artificial intelligence, that machines are capable of learning and replicating processes, but we've fucking known this for forever. So it not only is like artificial intelligence like not the fucking, I wouldn't rely on that shit at all. I was certainly wouldn't spend a lot of fucking money on it. And you got to understand that it comes from, I've worked for businesses that were building and had a fuck ton of capital and trying to figure out what we invest in. And you learn like it takes a high level of discernment to get a business to go. And it takes like good fucking decision making. And for the record, I can give a great example of like shitty decision making. Okay. Remember how I told you when I first got out of college, I worked for an HVAC company that merged with a fucking plumbing company in Indianapolis. They're called Williams Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber. here in Indianapolis. Okay, well they bought in the 6 months I worked for them, they bought Jarbo's out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they bought Thomas and Galbraith out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Two like legacy family owned plumbing and HVAC companies out of Louisville and Cincy, like the two sister cities of Indy, right? And I was in special projects, so it was my job for someone to like attempt to appropriate money, and it had to go through the fence first. And it was my job to like give them advice. Is this a good decision, or is this a good use of our money? So at the beginning of the year for special projects, I think if I remember the math correctly, they appropriated 64 point something million, 64.7, I think, to special projects. It was a fuckload of money. That's like 60 million, Jared? Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot. Okay. And the idea that made it to my desk was to take all of Thomas and Galbraith and Jarbo's vehicles out of service and sell them. A lot of those trucks are fucking old and worthless, and it's it's probably more. It's okay. It's okay. Y'all can worry about that, but I cannot. Okay. Uh, I don't remember what I was talking about anymore. The Parliament of Greenland just introduced legislation that bans Donald Trump and all his descendants for 100 generations. Oh, Elon Musk restricted Laura Loomer's Twitter after they had that little beef. Hmm. I'm telling you, when they start going at each other, that's a sign, dude. I don't know how to explain it because there's too many people that are just like off this altogether. Like fuck the government, fuck the United States, fuck the Democratic Party, fuck the Republican Party, fuck this whole electoral process. I'm out. I won't fucking know. That's how my wife is. For the record, y'all want to know like she's not in the Discord, she's not like a big part of this shit. She's checked the fuck out because it's just too much shit, too hard to keep up with. She gotta work all day and take care of babies and shit. Nah. But when they start going at each other, you understand? Agree. Loomer not on my bingo card, right? Oh. Jack Smith's report on Donald Trump's charges imminent. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? He restricted a bunch of MAG accounts now because he knows. Because he knows they'll cut him out. They'll cut him out, bro. He ain't a MAGA loyalist, bro. He hopped on that fucking train. And again, we're gonna keep pointing shit out. We're gonna keep pointing shit out. People are gonna keep the blinders on. But this is very telling. Tell me if you understand why I posted that Twitter. Once you click it and go see Nick Fuentes saying, and I quote, if anybody would like to continue to defray the cost of private security and rebuilding my studio, here's a donation link. And you're like, Jared, why'd you even post that? Read the fucking bottom. I can only accept cryptocurrency because I am banned from banking services and credit card processing. Bing, 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 bing. Lights should be going off in your fucking head. Nick Fuentes is banned from banking processes and credit card processing. Who's Nick Fuentes? Oh, he's one of those tenant media boys, isn't he? Oh, why do you think Donald Trump's getting $1 million here and there? Why do you think he's getting a milli from here and a milli from there? Again, I want to keep pointing this out. $1 million is fucking nothing. Fucking no things. $1 million is nothing. If somebody is giving you a milli, unless you do not have a million, it's not a money. He's been sanctioned. He can't use his credit card. He can't. I'm telling you, that whole fucking team has been hit. They've all gotten hit. They're not saying shit. Think about this. They're not begging for money, bro. Sis. Donald Trump's not, he ain't coming out with new shit to sell on a website. Show me a Republican right now trying to sell you a t-shirt. Where's where's the Donald Trump? Where's that shit at? Where's the Donald Trump, king of the fucking universe, fuck democracy? Where's that shit at on his website, right? Why? Why is Nick Fuentes, why can't Nick Fuentes fucking process credit cards? We're gonna look. We're gonna figure it out who else gets frozen. Cause think about it. Nick Fuentes is stupid. Why the fuck would you say that publicly? You just tipped off anyone that had any suspicion about is anything gonna fucking happen? Laura Loomer is going the fuck to town on Elon Musk, getting her and a bunch of other MAGA fucking, excuse me, burp, banned and restricted on fucking Twitter by Elon Musk. So they're starting to fucking go at each other. Nick Fuentes can't fucking take credit card payments. I know it don't feel like the earth is fucking moving under your feet. Jilly said I missed work. What's happening? Jesus Christ, Jilly. Nick Fuentes posted on December 19th. It's a little over a week ago. Okay. If anybody would like to contribute to defray the cost of private security and rebuilding my studio, here's a donation link. And I know you're like, that's not important. Yeah, there's another sentence that says, I can only accept cryptocurrency because I am banned from banking services and credit card processing. Thank you. So, Jilly, I would ask you, dear, who's Nick Fuentes? One of those tenant media boys, right? The people that was receiving payments from Russia to basically spit out Russia talking points. And no, you don't get banned from banking services for assault. Just so you know, because I know there's people that could be like, well, he did just assault someone on his property and shit, and he has had to fucking move. What? You don't lose the ability to use your debit card for hitting somebody. Like, nah, fam. They all got hit. I'm telling you. I could think about it. Think about it. Ting. Doesn't EO 13848 say people involved with interference are to be sanctioned? Yes. Go look. Is Donald Trump fundraising? Is Donald Trump currently fundraising? Can you donate to him? He ain't put out no shoes, no fucking nothing. No, I mean, think about merch, dog, ladies. Like, no Trump fucking 47th president. You ain't seen anything on Donald Trump's website about 47th president? No, I'm saying like him saying like, go to my website and buy my merch. Anyone check out Tucker Carlson's accounts? I mean, I don't really fuck with them people, but like, hey, make sure you wear a mask, yo. You got to survive the revolution. Okay? Got to get 8 hours of sleep. Look at my fucking eyes, yo. I'm 40. I look fucking great. I think for 40 years old, living through what I've lived through, I look fucking good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a little black. Like, what the fuck, Jared? I got pit bulls, though. I'm bound to get fucked up. But fortunately, part of the reason that I dress like I dress, like a hoodie and a beanie and sweatpants, is because I have fucking massive dogs that if I wasn't as big as I am, them things jump on me all the time. I wear animal. Like, if I go sit on the couch, pit bulls just like are sitting on me or in the defensive position. Wishing a motherfucker would. But yeah. But yeah. Big thing here. Hey, mask the fuck up. Even my wife started. She works at a hospital. Even she's been on like mask up, and she works at OBGYN. Okay. How come Donnie isn't pushing his 2025 presidency? Right. Oh, you want to see another one? You want to see another elbow drop? You want to see another elbow drop? Ha-cha-ha! Here's here's Jackie Singh on Christmas from the top rope. All about Lindy Lee, a liar, traitor, fascist enable, collaborator, piece of shit person. Uh, I actually really like Twitter. See, Twitter was originally going to be the basis for my show, but Elon Musk is a fucking piece of shit that fuck! He like ruined something I really liked. Uh, Twitter's so good. Oh, what started World War III? Russia cut internet cables in the Baltic and is gonna invade other NATO countries, and it's gonna all flip real fast. Where it's like they cut cables, but the Finnish are ready to fuck some shit up, and NATO's getting ready to act, and then it's like Ukraine becomes a NATO country, and then that shit's fucking over. Like, how do we find out if Elon's sanctioned? How does he pay for his flights? So I imagine if his flights slow down, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not an economist. But it's a good question. Like, how do we know if he's been sanctioned? Again, I got to think that if you're a GOPer and you're not out here trying to make money, that's telling to me. Why wouldn't Donald Trump be telling everyone to raise money for him if there was somewhere to put it? Because he clearly needs it. He said, "Oh, Elon would publicly cry out if he was sanctioned." God, can you imagine? Yep, Russia's likely funding him. Remember, Donald Trump was supposed to pay a $464 million bond, and his fucking lawyer told the judge, like, he doesn't even have $100 million. And that was after Mark Zuckerberg gave him $1 million. So, again, I'm going to keep pointing this out. They're bleeding his ass out. They're deprogramming the populace. It don't fucking feel good. We've isolated MAGA. They're meant to feel the weight of their decisions. We're in that last fucking phase. I know it fucking sucks. Fucking sucks. But for me, actually, finding y'all has made this not so fucking bad, because I'd like to think somebody would contact me and be like, "You're fucking crazy, and none of this shit that you're talking about makes any fucking sense." Right? Yeah. So Marko Mihkelson is the chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee of the Estonian Parliament. He says, in English, by the way, if the assumption is true that the outage of the Estonia-Finland electricity connection, EST Link 2, is caused by interference from a vessel that has passed over the field, NATO member states should quickly consult on further actions. Closing the Baltic Sea to vessels flying certain flags should not be ruled out. So again, when you ask about how did World War III begin, it began with countries taking out communications underwater. I'm going to read what you said, Devin. Give me just a minute. Jesus Christ. Alex Peter Lolo was a guy. Oh, shit. Here's Matt Gaetz going after Tech Bros. I can smell a split. William Webster, the only person to ever head both the FBI and CIA, says Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard are not good for their job. They're not going to be. See, I think if I had to stack them, okay, in my eyes, the flying under the radar story of the day is Jack Smith's reports imminent in a few days. So I know you're all like, what is the difference between imminent and a few days? And the correct answer is I don't fucking know. I have no goddamn clue. Imminent, in my eyes, means they're at our doorstep, right? Imminent means we're on the verge to me. I'm not looking that up. I'm not even going to bother to look up imminent in terms of like how do I differentiate between like a few days and imminent, because I feel like imminent's a lot sooner. I also want to keep pointing out that hasn't shit really happened on the weekends. It's do y'all catch what I'm throwing at all? Like, imminent means today or fucking Monday to me. I don't expect shit to pop off tomorrow or Sunday. But again, at some point, I don't know. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to figure out like what, because I think we're about to enter a war time frame. And this should not be a surprise. We've been having this conversation, right? Article 4 does not have to be announced publicly. Article 5, wartime power. Article 5, wartime powers. It's like, this is what NATO says, this is what the US does. So, Article 5, NATO, US president, wartime powers. This coincides. Brasher for imminent. Okay. Brasher says about to happen is the definition of imminent. Okay. So we are, in terms of the Jack Smith report, and I think that's the biggest story of the day, we are somewhere between imminent and a few days of seeing that report. And I cannot see releasing that report and there being nothing to follow. So I understand where people are like, well, Jared, like, look at the fucking climb and place we're in. I kind of get it. I kind of get that. But, like, I don't think you put that fucking report out unless the dude's getting charged with treason. And again, I'm just reading the room, right? I'm seeing them start to go at each other. I'm seeing the split between the tech bros and like The MAGA, they're fucking breaking up. It's like all that shit is imploding. And again, I have been saying that. I've been saying that for a while. I'm like, as the fucking walls start to fucking cave in on these idiots, because there's no fucking way, right? Because like we've sat here this whole time, and I'm sure, and again, I'm repeating something I said earlier. One of you would have come to me by now and been like, hey, dude, I love your content, but you're batshit crazy. None of you have said that this whole fucking time. So I gotta think like, gosh, what then? What happens after it release? You have to think charges. There's no fucking way. Like the thing that Donald Trump and all his ilk getting away with shit and like winning this election, getting away with shit, you can never expect you can never expect to have a normal election again. You could never expect to like end Citizens United. You could never expect like a more progressive society. No. But I think once it drops, you got to move. It's like that report goes public, and within 24 hours, he's placed under arrest. Because here's the thing that people don't understand, that maybe you're not putting two and two together. Okay. Because you gotta. Jack Smith dropped all charges without prejudice. Meaning, yeah, and if I'm crazy, then we are all crazy. We're all lost our motherfucking minds. Because I've tried to like stay in a fucking window pane of reality. And like look out the fucking window and like see what is going on and like actually happening. And I don't think anything I've talked about is like off the fucking Richter scale stupid. I'm not trying to sell you crypto. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to point to shit and say, hey, listen, if none of the MAGA motherfuckers have been sanctioned, so we're starting with if none of them had been sanctioned, and you also found out that in the last week, Donald Trump was ordered to pay a $464 million bond, and his fucking lawyer told the judge he doesn't have $100 million. He does not have it. So if none of them had been sanctioned, he gets ordered to pay a $464 million fucking bond and doesn't even have $100 million. Don't you think if they hadn't been sanctioned, they'd all be fundraising for him right now? If you don't think that, okay. If they could just take all the money in the world to help Donnie, don't you think they'd be doing it? Better yet, because I know some of you are like, well, they're all sharks, and they all fucking hate each other. I'm with you. But understand, normal fucking people, if the leader of your party is in a financial peril and y'all can just raise money, you do it for him. They ain't. And go to the other MAGAs. Are they fundraising? Are they out? Can you see clearly when you go to their social media? And I'm not even looking. I'm making this is called a presupposition, where I'm like, I'm not doing any research on this. I'm just fucking throwing this the fuck out there and saying like, we hit anything? Go find me an active fundraiser from a MAGA elected official. Can you find one? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who else? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Kari Lake. Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio. Can you find any of them? Are any of them saying donate here? You know how like on the left they have Act Blue? Can you show me on Donald Trump? Let's narrow down the list so that people aren't like, well, this person in California, in the fucking desert. Like, okay, idiot. I'm talking about somebody with prominence. Donald Trump and in his line of command. Oh, any of his fucking appointees. Why does he have financial trouble when all them people are fucking billionaires? Wouldn't you move heaven and earth to support Donald Trump there? Oh, you can't. You can't move your money. Everything's fucking frozen in it. The only person that you see like with any movement in my eyes is Elon. He's the only one still doing whatever fuck he wants. And for the record, ever since that visit to Iran, call me when I'm wrong, because I don't know about the Germany trip. I don't know when that was. But hasn't he only been flying stateside since that trip to Iran? I could be fucking wrong. I could be wrong. I am allowed to be wrong. But I feel like all these things are leading towards like kind of what we've fucking been saying the whole goddamn time, and it's actually kind of irritating. But I got a few. We got a few links to get you on your way out the door. Okay. So remember, we always start the show. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Hi, Stacy. So here's the starting song of the day. Okay. It would be a total waste of money, and they know it. Well, there's that too, Lori. But I'm saying like, if he's gonna be the president, right, and he's supposed to pay this $464 million bond, and you actually gave a shit about him, and he was telling you what was going on in his life, and there was some way to move money, and we could have made sure he just paid off that fucking bond, so he stupid shit doesn't happen to him. And they didn't fucking do that, and he didn't bother to communicate it, and now he goes in there and he don't even have 100 fucking million. And then again, I want to keep pointing out, he's not getting 100 million from anyone. He's getting a milli here and a milli there. Like all those companies that are like buying into his fucking presidency and shit, it's $1 million. It's like they're not giving him money. Okay. Okay, so we start every show, we just didn't today, okay, on War by Edwin Starr. Okay. And then we end every show, okay, on Eat the Rich. Okay. Okay. And then I feel like I gotta bring it up. Uh I'm not gonna pay no mind to the people slandering me and defaming me. Pay no mind. Y'all want to go report their shit, engage with their shit, block them asses, and move the fuck on. Understood? That's the official word from the person that you're supporting in that argument, is telling you like I have zero plans to give that oxygen. But I did want to point out that when you do say my name, okay, it makes me think of Destiny's Child. Okay? And when you make me think of Destiny's Child, and I'm a big music fan, it made me look for a dubstep version of Destiny's Child, Say My Name. So my official response to people slandering and defaming me behind my back in rooms that I'm not in, say my name. Say my fucking name. No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. You ain't running game. Have a good one. See you this afternoon. It's making my headphones crack.